Hey there, welcome back. This time we have a Yamaha RBX170. It belongs to a friend of my daughter's. She brought it over. They said that they wanted me to take a look at it. Didn't really say why. Appears to be in pretty good nick, in good shape. Has a PJ style pickup setup. Your standard tuner, the standard knob configuration for a PJ. Pretty basic guitar otherwise. Does have 24 frets, which is nice. So after playing it, I figured it must be the razor sharp frets because it does have a little bit of wear on the edge of the fretboard, and all of the fret sprout's pretty great. So I believe we will take the strings off this guy and do a little bit of fret work on it and get it back to her pretty quickly here. Hey folks, Tommy Hair Metal here for Expensive AF Pedals. We go back in time to source the original parts from the original manufacturer so they sound even better than the originals. Plug into one, and your friends will say, "Hey man, is that an expensive AF pedal?" You betcha, bro, you betcha.
Not really sure what the complaint was, so let's start with tensioning up the tuning pegs. Just have to get the covers off. I have to take the 4 screws out. There's a gear set underneath the cover, and generally it's a little dirty, and the screws need to be tightened slightly. So clean it out a little bit, and then tighten it up. The issue with these is they're quite they're large and have a lot of tension on them, so it actually takes a good deal of force. You want to make sure you have a good screwdriver tip, get a firm grip on the actual tuning peg, and then tighten it up. So it took a couple of turns on this one to actually get it really good and snug. Then reinstall the cover. Next, I went to checking the neck to see if it maybe had some high frets or whatnot using a rocker. It did have a couple of frets that had actually come a little loose, I found upon rocking it. So, not a usual treatment I have to do, but I went ahead and reset those with the fretting hammer. Took just a couple of nice soft blows to get those back into shape. Then after that, we check and see if it's still high. And they were a little high even still, so had to move on to filing down a couple of the high frets that it had. Basically, you just have to be very careful using any kind of file on frets. Then I re-crowned all of the frets. And this guitar has 24, so that actually took quite a while, but after using the crowning file to get the nice contour back to all of them, moved on to a little bit of polishing, because you do get a little bit of scratching from the other treatments, the filing and whatnot. So taking a flexible pad and a 1500 grit sheet of sandpaper, try to very evenly polish the frets to get all the ends nice and clean, and then just run up and down the fretboard. Then using D-tacked masking tape, I masked off the frets so that I could round off the ends with the fret dressing file. The fret ends were really, really sharp, so I spend a little time at each end of the fret with the fret dressing file, just rounding the edges over. Had to be really careful using this because it's really easy to grind down into the side of the fretboard. And the actual edges of the fretboard were a little worn, as if this guitar had been played quite a bit, so this fretwork was really much appreciated in the long run, I think. Much smoother after a little work on the ends. Then taking a fret eraser, 150 grit, go ahead and just get all the roughness and dirt off the frets and kind of polish them up. Get the extra scratching off the top base of the fret, and then also use it on the ends to help clean up any burring or anything that I missed with the fret dressing file. Then progressing through the grits, we go to 400, which is more of a polishing. And after that, we go to the 1000, which gets us a really nice shine on there. And last, we're going to oil the neck up with some good old lemon oil. Just apply it liberally along the neck and let it soak in for a few minutes, and kind of rub it in here and there to help get a good even seal on the actual rosewood fretboards. It really ends up making them look nice after they've sat for a while. And it helps to keep contaminants and dirt out of the actual fretboard when you go to the treble. So another quick trick that I like to do, they didn't want a new set of strings, so we'll just boil the strings. A little boiling gets the finger oils out. You just add a drop of dishwashing liquid, get them up to boiling temperature, and then take them out and dry them. It's actually a pretty good trick.
Well, there you go. Plays a lot better now. Doesn't cut your fingers as you run it up and down along the bottom of the fretboard. Needed some frets pounded back in, as you saw. A little fret polishing and leveling. and a few minor adjustments, and it plays really well. She actually uses it to gig, so I hope she's much happier with it after it's done now. So thanks. Be sure to like and subscribe. We'll see you again next time.